This is Radio Now 95.3 FM. Come for the news, stay for informed conversations.
States comprising Kaduna, Kano, Katsina, Kebbi, Jigawa, Sokoto and Zamfara states have in recent years faced similar security challenges and consequent disruptions to the livelihoods of the people who live there. Joining us this morning is human statistician Emmanuel Osemeka. Mr. Osemeka, good morning and thank you for joining us on the conversation.
Good morning. My pleasure to be with you.
Right. Mr. Osemeka, what is your reaction to the approval of the Senate for the creation of the Northwest Development Commission?
It's very sad. Very unfortunate, honestly. It's unfortunate, because the administration has been flip-flopping on policy directions and policy implementation, most importantly, policy implementation. This current administration came up with about 2 months ago, came up with the idea of, resuscitating the Orosanya report and other sundry issues to reduce agencies of government and by extension reduce the cost of governance in the country. Having realized that the government is not, generating enough funds to service the myriads of agencies, or should I use the word proliferation of agencies across the federal establishment. And so they set up a committee to streamline and come up with a number of agencies that will be merged, scrapped, or, do away with. Unfortunately, the National Assembly behaves as if they are not part of the government. And they have gone ahead to continue to establish new agencies. What is the essence of creating a Northwest Development Agency? We cannot go far to see that this is as a result of the creation of the Niger Delta Development Agency, which came as a result of the agitation by the oil-producing states, who have agitated over the years as a result of the neglect and destruction of livelihood as a result of the oil exploration. Then, in addition, in recent past, there was a creation of the Northeast Development Agency to be able to help, or answer to the destruction that has happened as a result of the Boko Haram insurgency in the Northeast Nigeria. And for over 50 years, the Southeast also have been, agitating for this Southeast Development Agency. Unfortunately, that was not created.
Well, so perhaps for some information, I know that is a bill that is being considered. It's still within the works.
Yes, I agree that it's still in the works. I remember the last time that bill did not enjoy the support of the majority of the senators at the time, or whatever is worth, because I recall clearly that the senator representing Anambra North, was the one who sponsored the bill, and for probably lack of consensus amongst his colleagues, I remember the Senate president asked him to step down the bill for further consultations, or he should put the question. And he told the Senate president to put the question, and the bill didn't go through. But the question, what I'm asking, what I have against all these development commissions is, what are they being created to do or to serve? Or what are the gaps that supposedly the federal government, the state government, and the local government are creating that they believe that the development commissions will create? So a case in point is the Niger Delta Development Commission, where trillions of naira and billions of dollars have been pumped into, but there is nothing to write home about the Niger Delta Development Commission. Ditto the Northeast Development Commission. There's a lot of work being done by development partners and NGOs, the state government and all that. And of course, by the federal government will also complement it. What exactly is the development commissions meant to serve It's not waste. And, go ahead, please.
If I may. So, I mean, one of the senators who urged the chamber to support this bill said that, look, it would allow the federal government be closer to the Northwest region. And I'm glad that you are tickled by this, Mr. Osameka. But, I also look at, for instance, the NDDC is quite popular. It's been in operation for years. So a lot of Nigerians are they're conversant with the controversies we've seen around that commission. With the Northeast Development Commission, when you take a look at its website that lists its projects and programs, it's around coordination, humanitarian efforts, early recovery, long-term development, and then the Northeast Recovery and Stability Program, right? So these are some of the things that come up. Would you consider that perhaps the commissions help to streamline government activity, and the waste you're referring to is simply the same thing that dogs a lot of other projects and policies that multiple administrations have undertaken?
Absolutely, you are absolutely correct. If you look at what the Northeast Development Commission put up in the website, that is their focal area. This is the duplication of efforts because, for example, within the humanitarian space, where you have largely the Northeast, being operated within the Northeast area, you have the OCHA, which is the Office of the Humanitarian Coordination by the United Nations, who coordinates the activities of international NGOs, even to a very large extent, the national NGOs in the country, and they coordinate largely, the activities of, they co-coordinate the activities, their own activities in line with the federal government and the state government in that area. Then, on the part of the government, you have the, the humanitarian ministry, the Federal Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, whose responsibility it is to also coordinate the humanitarian activities in the Northeast, side by side with OCHA. Now, you have different sectoral, coordinators within the Northeast sphere. So the Northeast activities is properly streamlined, properly delineated, and properly coordinated within, the spectrum of the actors, in addition to the state coordination and the federal coordination. So for whatever sector you're talking about, you have the federal coordination that takes place in Abuja, and we have the state coordination that happens in various states of where activity is born. So bringing in the Northeast Development Commission, which is just a waste of time, waste of money, and waste of resources, right? Because what they are talking about that they coordinate is already being done. So it's complete waste. Now, take a case in point of the Niger Delta Development Commission. Are you aware that the Lagos State is a part of the Niger Delta Development Commission? Ditto Imo State, ditto Abia State. Anambra State is about to be, ought to have joined a long time ago, but for political expediency, Anambra State has not been joined. Lagos State is currently receiving 13% derivation. And the law that permits 13% derivation permits it to the extent that you must be an oil producing state, oil, gas, or whatever producing state. And Lagos State is currently receiving 13% derivation. So which automatically makes Lagos State a part of the Niger Delta Development Commission. So if tomorrow you wake up and say, okay, that you should set up a Southwest Development Commission, what that happens? You set up a Southeast Development Commission. There are two states already from the Southeast that are part of the Niger Delta Development Commission.
Mr. Osameka, on that note, right, it's safe to say that these, and if you look at the trend, the patterns of how the commissions are set up, it typically follows a period of intense insecurity in these regions. We saw that with the Northeast. We're seeing it now with the Northwest, which means it's quite likely that we will see a Southeast Development Commission set up. And maybe something positive to say about that is that at least we're looking at it based on, quote, the merit of the situation and not so much around equality for all regions that we tend to ask for all the time. What's interesting with this bill is that it's got cross-party support. One of the lawmakers who supported its passage is from the Labour Party, the senator who's representing the Federal Capital Territory in the Red Chamber. So this brings up the question of these considerations that you have outlined, right? Do you see a situation where in a review, in an implementation of the Oronsaye report, we might actually see a better coordination of the federal government's efforts in the regions?
Unfortunately, the development commissions have no and will never have a role to play in improving the coordination of the federal government in any given geographic region. The development commissions, in my view and in my opinion, are just products of political, consideration. Because if you look clearly at how these commissions are getting wide support, the wide support they are getting is to the extent that they are politically, entrenched. So, who sponsored this bill for the Northwest is the Deputy Senate President and 20 others. So it's easy for him, using his office, to be able to establish this commission. And because this has happened, they are now compelled to now establish other regional commissions in order to create what they call balance. But that is not what the federal government needs now. That's not what the country needs right now. All the money you're going to spend for overhead, for me, is a waste, because you are talking about security. What do we need to improve security? We are not even talking about the absence of local government administration across the country. As at the last count, 17 states across the federation today have not conducted local government elections. They've only appointed caretaker committees. Anambra State, in the last 18 years, have not conducted local government elections. And you want to tell me that you want to curb insecurity? The answer is no. On a monthly basis, federal allocation goes to local government, and the governors pocket it and distribute it at their own whims and caprices, neglecting the very, essence of local government administration. So there is no development at the level of local government, and by extension, it creates unemployment. And if you look critically at different reports that have come out to say why Nigeria has serious insecurity challenges, chief among them is unemployment. How do you create employment where there is absence of governance? Now, there are too many ungoverned spaces, and the local government administration that have been neglected over the years has all of a sudden, formed part of the ungoverned spaces in our national policy. So, the major challenge within our security architecture is the absence of a responsible elected local government administration across the 774 local governments across the federation. And the politicians are playing ostrich with such things. So if we are serious about stopping insecurity, the first thing we need to take care of is the third arm of government, or should I say, the local government administration must be clearly, giving its pride of place by ensuring that we conduct credible elections and enthrone men and women who become local government chairmen, deputies, and councillors, and we hold them accountable for the humongous amount of money that are allocated to them. I think that's where we need to start from, and not the creation and proliferation of development commission, because very soon now we'll start creating local government development commissions.
Well, Mr. Osemeka, thank you very much for speaking with us this morning. Our guest on the conversation is human statistician Emmanuel Osemeka, and he joined us to speak on the Senate's approval for the creation of a Northwest Development Commission that will focus on addressing infrastructural challenges and the destruction of livelihoods in the region. You're still on to Radio Now 95.3 FM Lagos. Entertainment Now is up next on your Beyond the News station. We ask, as always, that you stay with us.
This is Radio Now 95.3 FM. Come for the news, stay for informed conversations.